Welcome to Q's on the Move. I'm your man. I'm Brother Donald Williams II, the proud 2nd District Chairman for the Fatherhood Initiative and Mentoring Committee. We are so glad that you have joined us for this segment of Q's on the Move. There is so much going on in the world, in our communities. We're about 92 days into a new year. Wow, we got here real fast. Our world is transforming into a new normal. Schools are returning to reopen for our children to return into the schoolhouse. We continue to fight 2 or 3 pandemics, COVID-19, of course, social injustice, social inequity, even got voting restrictions in the state of Georgia, limiting mail-in votings. Can you believe? No water, you can't even bring water to your neighbor. You can't even bring food to them. What happened to love thy neighbor as thyself? We have unseasonable weather, severe weather with flash floods, 6 tornadoes in the South. Friends and family, a lot is going on. And I tell you what, the impact that we are making with the Fatherhood and Mentoring Committee remains consistent and remains steadfast. I'd like to introduce my co-host for Q's on the Move, my good friend, Brother Jeff Diggs. Brother Jeff Diggs.
How's it going, Brother Williams and other brothers in our audience? There's a lot going on, but tell you what, we've been consistent, and even throughout the pandemic, I tell you what, it has did us one heck of a favor. You know, we've been really get a chance to make some great impact. Like I said, in February, with over 1,000 alone that we've managed to impact. And so, you know, that's just phenomenal. So, but we're here to celebrate the success and the execution of a district-wide strategy in which was focused on mentoring and planned activities with a huge impact for our children, their dads, mothers, and their families. So I don't want to labor and take up the time from those who've been out there that's really made the difference, the ones who've really gotten out there. So I want to introduce our guests and then come back and have them to share a little bit the highlights of their program and what they've done, their why for their activities, what were their goals achieved, what they've learned from their next steps. So we know. So today we have with us brothers Melvin Stallings, brothers Matt Stevens, brother Bernard Jackson, and brother Don Williams. So with that, I want to start out with our heavy hitter in the beginning, and with brother Melvin Stallings. And so I want to know the ins and outs and the whys of your program while you're doing your introduction. I want to bring up a slide. And so in that slide, I saw one balloon with a thumbprint or a fingerprint or something on it. So after your introduction, could you explain that and then go into your program for us, please? Brother Melvin Stallings.
Good evening, brothers. Based on that balloon was basically the imprint of teaching students about fingerprints. No one has the same fingerprints. We wanted to use a fingerprint activity to teach kids about the introduction to forensics career. Our workshop we did in January, we taught students about the forensic science pathway. I did a fingerprint activity with the students. We did DNA analysis, and we also had a mock crime scene where the students had to identify fingerprints of a unknown suspect that actually committed a theft at a crime scene. So we had fingerprints analysis at the beginning, we had DNA analysis, and then we taught the kids about the basis of how to process a mock crime scene. At the end of the workshop, we gave the students opportunity to learn about the pathway. We had the chief medical examiner of Washington, D.C. come speak to the kids about his pathway from high school to career. With that program, we had 240 students who participated in our program, and it was huge. You know, we're looking to really enhance the students' aptitude of learning about different careers in STEM, trying to motivate more minority. There's a large gap in STEM education that we're trying to help bridge through our mentoring programs. So with that said, in April, coming up in April the 24th, we will have our next program, our workshop, and we will be doing cybersecurity. We'll have a professional doing cybersecurity, giving the students a leadway. So our goal for that one is to have at least 300 kids, try to increase the bandwidth of getting more kids involved in these STEM careers.
Hey, brother, could you give me your chapter? How did you come through into Omega?
I came through Omega by St. Luke chapter in Alexandria, Virginia. I had a mentor in high school. I'm from Virginia. Had a mentor, the late Spencer Mayfield, basketball coach, mentored me in high school. And he told me about the good things about manhood, scholarship, perseverance, uplift, in high school. And then once I got to college, went to Norfolk State and pledged one of part of the process of becoming an Omega man through St. Luke when I moved to Virginia. Back to Virginia, working as a forensic scientist in Baltimore.
Oh, so you're actually working in Baltimore, but you live in Virginia.
No, this was like 15 years ago.
Okay.
I did forensics. So now I teach forensics on a high school level, and I run my own nonprofit where we enhance STEM education with kids all over the world. Nonprofit is called Cyber Green.
Okay, so tell us, how would youngsters get in touch with you for your upcoming program? Well, actually, their parents also.
They could call me 443-418-2711, or they can email me at installings@cybergreengroup.org.
Okay, thank you so much, brother. We'll be getting back to you in a little while. This next brother I want you to meet is no stranger to Q's on the Move. We've had him on here several times. In fact, he just did his own show here last Tuesday. So from brother Matt Stevens, talk to us about your program that you did this February. I'm going to bring up a quick slide, but give us your why, what goals you set out, what you achieved, what you learned, and tell us something about maybe your first mentor.
Oh, great. Well, greetings, brothers. The program that we did in New Jersey was focused on esports. We did a survey of the young people who we're working with to kind of get a gauge on what made their interest, what were they interested in doing. And all of them said video games. And so we put together a three-piece process that first we identified a Black-owned esports company out of Delaware, a group called Futures First Gaming. These young brothers went to college at Seton Hall University. They graduated and they started their own gaming business. And so we wanted to see what they were all about. And they helped us to kind of think it through, because the esports and the video games are quite complicated when you're trying to do tournaments, large tournaments. So we needed someone to show us how to do it. So Future First Gaming was the group that we worked with to kind of get us to where we wanted to be. The first thing we did was a introduction to esports through a webinar where kids just ask questions about what is a gamer, how do I become a gamer, how much money do gamers make, what's a gamer do all day long. And these young men, not that far ahead of their age, they're maybe 25 to 30 years old, they were able to speak their language and talk them through understanding this new world that we're in, where gaming didn't even exist, I think, 5 years ago, and what's the possibilities of it in 5 years from now. So we did, after the seminar, we actually did a tournament. We had 100 kids to register for the tournament. The tournament lasted for 10 hours from 10 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock p.m. And then we had 2 young men win the championships. So we had a PlayStation championship and a PlayStation and Xbox were the 2 champions. A young man from Silver Springs, Maryland, named Monty Melvin, and another young man named Ken Hightower from Edison, New Jersey, were the winners. And so the kids, all of the kids got to play. They enjoyed themselves. They got to meet boys from all over the area. And we had a bunch of little girls as well. Some little girls from Detroit, Michigan were able to play. We had a really good time. And so our third process following up is we're doing an actual gamer design course. It's an 8-week course that's taught on Saturday mornings, where Future First Gamers will be teaching young people how to become gamers. They'll teach them how to develop a website, how to attract customers to their website, and how to monetize the gaming business. So really excited about those opportunities, looking to expand throughout the state, as well as throughout the district with these various programs.
Okay, thank you, Brother Stevens. So we may get a chance to come back to you, but so that we can move right along here. Brother Bernard Jackson with Tau Lambda Lambda out of Southern Maryland. Brother Jackson, could you tell us about your virtual college tour and give us maybe a mentoring moment? And as I bring up some slides here.
Good evening, brothers, and it's certainly a pleasure to be with you. Wanted to briefly give a summary of the 19th annual HBCU College Festival, really hosted by Alfred Street Baptist Church. I lead the planning as the president of the planning committee with 61 volunteers. This year, this was our first ever virtual festival, and that was interesting evolution to conduct. We had over 2,400 people, 2,400 students participated in the festival. This is what you see last year, really the year before last, when we were in the convention center. Typically, we attract populations over the, really above 10,000 is what we average. We saw a difference in the population this year because when families came, although you had about 2,400 logged on, you saw a difference where maybe 5 people watching from that one computer. But what we saw this year that was really a measure of success were the number of connections that were made. Throughout the festival, over 55,000 connections were made between academic institutions, parents, students, and also some of the college sponsors. We had Google, we had Amazon, we had Microsoft, we also had the U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, and Defense Intelligence agencies as sponsors who offered opportunities to students. There were over 388 interviews conducted throughout that day. And there were 84 HBCU colleges and universities represented at the event. And this led to hundreds of free admissions, scholarship offers, also band and choral editions. And it was overall an overwhelming success, and with the support of the brothers from around the second district, we were able to have a successful event this year. Some of my early mentors was really, I didn't realize that one of my father's best friend, Mr. Ben Compton, was actually one of the founding members of the chapter that I crossed. I crossed in 1975 at Alpha Gamma chapter in Savannah State University. And Mr. Ben Collins, I learned later, who was one of my early mentors, he was one of the first founding members of that chapter. So Omega Men has just continued to be an uplifting spirit in my life, especially with our cardinal principles of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. Thank you, and I look forward to further questions. Over.
Okay, I thank you, Brother Jackson. So with that, I want to move right on over, since we're running a little bit early, to with my good brother Don Williams, who's the chair of the Second District Fatherhood and Mentoring Committee for the 5 states of Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. Brother Williams his brother's working hard. He's working hard every single day, all day, trying to coordinate a lot of this, trying to keep us all motivated. And his brother hails from New chapter in Silver Spring, Maryland. So with that, Don, tell us about the annual Game Changers. It was a big difference this year from the past. So give us some highlights. You're muted, brother.
First, let me just say thank you so much. A mega proud, a mega excellence. I want to say thank you so much for working together for a greater impact across the district. This has been outstanding. There's a quote that says, "You cannot be great by yourself because you diminish your impact." And my brothers, what you have proven is that we are stronger working together. Again, I want to just thank you for your leadership. I'm sitting here listening and I feel like a proud father. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Being a coach in basketball, that is certainly teamwork, make the dream work. So brother Diggs, again, as you know, we came together in August to develop a district-wide mentoring strategy. And we were intentional and purposeful about targeting February the 21st. And the reason why that was important, we wanted to honor an iconic Omega man, AKA the father of Black History Month, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, Goodwin Woodson. And so just sitting here listening to Melvin taking a lead with the CSI STEM workshop, followed by the NBA. Matt, so proud you got the patience to meet the students where they are. 10 hours, my goodness. And then we followed with the HBCU College Fair. Everybody know, Brother Jackson, education is the great equalizer, even in the 21st century. And then we culminated that with the Game Changer Conference, 2021. And you'll see we impacted 233, about 240 participants. And like Brother Jackson say, once they click on the link, I'm saying there's an average about 5 members per household. You multiply that number, you see that it started to explode. And so when we were able to gather annually, this is the 10th year of the Game Changer Conference, we will impact 500, 600 young people, dignitaries, fathers, mothers, but it was a lot different in the virtual environment. And we still were successful in having 233 participants. And so I was excited to see that strong support. The why, the reason we do the Game Changer Conference every year. When I started off, I learned on my mentoring journey about 15 years ago that everybody had 10 to 15 students that they were mentoring, whether they were in church with the youth ministry, whether they were boys and girls, whether they had their own organizations, about 10 or 15. And so I know as I would meet with my students, being a basketball coach, I had a lot of pregame speeches. I had a lot of jokes and you know, keep them motivated and interested. But at some point, they wanted to hear, for me, it was important for them to hear another voice. So I went to my home chapter, shout out to the mighty New chapter men of Omega Psi Phi, and talked to them about the vision. This was just a vision 10 years ago. And the bosses at the time, with the 22nd bosses of Mu was David A. Hill, my guy. And he immediately hugged me and said, I had the same thought. What can we do in Montgomery County? And it was as if the Lord lined it up. I coached basketball for 10 years at Montgomery College, but unbeknownst to me, the second person in charge, the vice president, was an Omega brother, Dr. Clemmy Solomon. He'd been doing this mentoring long before we were even thought of. And he was on the team. And then I went to Saul Graham. Saul Graham was a businessman out of South Carolina that came to Montgomery County and started his business, multi-millionaire. And he said, hey, look, I'll give you seed money, but make sure it's a collaborative effort. And so that started us on the journey. And the first Game Changer Conference was held in 2011 at Montgomery College in the cafeteria. We had about 175 students at that time. And the next year, we went to the theater arts at Montgomery College in Rockville. We had 400 students. Then we went to a larger facility at another campus at Montgomery College. We had 500, 600 students on a snowy day. And so we had to pivot to plan for growth. And we ended up going to the universities at Shady Grove. And up until the COVID-19, that's where we were. And just amazing with the number of students that have been impacted year in and year out. And so again, I'm convinced we are stronger working together. The Panhandle, the founder of the Game Changer Conference is actually UCF, where I'm the executive director. Who would think about that? And then I just went to my brothers that I know would provide me great support, which they have. News co-sponsor, Montgomery College is co-sponsor, the University of Shady Grove is co-sponsored, the Panhandle in Montgomery County. So again, it's a teamwork. And so that's what I'm so excited to be the champion along with you superstars that are doing the work in your community, coming together to impact 5 states. That's amazing to me. New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland with this collective mentoring impact. I can talk all day. I'm excited about what we are doing, my friends. I'm excited about the committee members that are not on this podcast. I'm excited what they are doing in the community. And the best is yet to come. I'll stop there, Jeff.
Okay, my brother. Well, we have a few more minutes left. So one of the things I want to do, I want to jump back and before we wrap it up, Brother Stallings, was there anything else that you would like to add before we wrap this up?
Yes, I want to also add that, this was a great partnership with the 100 Black Men of Greater Washington, D.C. chapter. We have done several things with Brother Williams over the years in STEM education. And we will continue to do this. Like he said, there's no I in team. It's one team. And, we can really get to a lot more young people and mentor education-wise if we're working as a group. And I think, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning.
I thank you for your work, brother. It's the impact, as Don would always say. What is the impact? We can go out and we can make time and we can do things, but if we're not being impactful and making a difference, we're pretty much spinning our wheels. And and I look at the work that you do, and at some point I've got to reach out to you so we can do some collaborative efforts along the way with that. I'm going to jump around a little bit, brother Jackson. So with COVID, has it did you a favor when it comes to the college tour?
Yes, the COVID changed almost virtually everything we did, especially with the HBCU festival. Also, within Tall End Orlando, we also sponsor a robotics program for elementary, middle school, and high school boys. And that was and trying to do robotics training and teach kids robotics in a virtual environment is kind of challenging. And so we had to look at how do we modify how we teach the boys a program, and then how you schedule maybe like a one central meeting where you actually get the boys come in, they load their program in, and they see the robot respond, and then we go back and critique it in a virtual environment. So it's been challenging, but and one of the things it has exposed the importance of education, and it's also exposed to me the digital rift in our community. When we first shifted over to digital, a lot of the kids didn't have the proper devices. Then a lot of them had school issued devices, but when they have school issued devices, they are limited to what those kids can expose themselves to. So we worked through another foundation to purchase tablets from Microsoft so we could loan the kids. But that's something that I think COVID has just blown where the disparities in education, technical, economic, and health, and just so many things in our community. Over.
Okay, my brother, thank you. And just like you, I know Matt Stevens responded to what COVID had did in a way that they weren't expecting. So, Brother Stevens, you got a couple more minutes here. You muted, Matt.
I would just say, thank God for the kids. They really kind of led us to this esports activities. And fortunately for them, a lot of them did not have computers, but the video games allow them to play online. So they were ahead of the game, actually, as it relates to being able to do something in the COVID environment. And so, just want to thank the brothers from the Mighty Mighty Ada Pi chapter. They were the ones who led the actual program throughout the corridor, and Brother Smith for making it happen statewide.
Okay, so with that, Brother Williams, why don't you give us a little bit, you have the final word here. We're down to about 3 minutes, and give us a little something about the Meharry and Tennessee State connection and your experience with COVID.
Well, thank you so much, Brother Days. Again, brothers, thank you so much for having a heart to serve and step up in your community. And more importantly, to support the district-wide mentoring where we're making a collective impact. Tennessee State University, my mentor name is John Tucker. And I hadn't heard about Tennessee State until I met John Tucker in church as superintendent of Sunday school. And one of my good friends and boss at NRC, Nuclear Regulatory Commission, is a Tennessee State graduate. So when I received this email, and the reason why I'm bringing the email up is because out of 15 years of mentoring, I have never seen an email that has circulated so quick and so wide than this email that starts off, we have enough women, we need males is needed in the doctor field. And so they have a great partnership at Tennessee State University, and they're looking for males. The cutoff is the 31st, is the cutoff. And I can tell you my nephew up in New Jersey, we worked for 2 days to get his packet together, working with his guidance counselor. And I was, how I work, I started at the top and I worked down. So I got his packet with a letter of recommendation, with his transcript, with all the things that are required for him to be enrolled at Tennessee State University, because he said from a very young age, I want to be a doctor, but my parents don't have no money. So this is like God sent. And so we want to just extend, you got till the 31st to put it in your application. I emailed it to the president, to their points of contact there. And so we're excited about that, about the opportunity, this pathway to increase the number of males that want to become doctors. Here's a picture. I'm like so many of my brothers. A shout out to LGG, my good friend, Dr. Vance, to the 37th District Representative, Kevin Amfofo, to the past district representative. They saw fit to, at the very beginning, to create a task force, a COVID-19 task force. And we've been at it for 55 weeks. And it's a forum that not only provide information, but inspiration. Brothers come together, and what I like about it, it's a mega excellence at its best. We got folks working on the White House staff there. We got doctors that's in charge of the ER. And through this education process, I learned so much about this virus and about where we are in the 21st century. This is not a Tuskegee experiment. they have re-engineered this vaccine, and it's really a miracle. And so through that education, you saw the picture there. About a week ago, I got my first shot at the VA hospital in DC. Was there only 35 to 45 minutes. I must confess, they did treat me like a VIP, and I was ushered right on into the doctor, to the technician. They gave me a shot. I was out in 45 minutes. And my wife and I, we drove up to Baltimore where she had an appointment. It was a different experience. We stayed there about 3 hours. But at the end of the day, we were able to accomplish the mission. And what I want to tell you, family, is get the shot, get the vaccine, so we can come out and play, my brothers. My brothers, we got to get this vaccine. I end with this, the 3 W's. Wash your hand, keep your distance. Yes, sir. Wear your mask. And look forward to seeing you on the other side of COVID-19, because we got work to do. Our young males, our baby boys and girls, our fathers, they need us in this moment to do the mentoring engagement. So thank you, thank you, thank you, my brothers.
Okay, my brothers, and I cannot thank you enough for all that you do. And there have been times I've been out there mentoring. I've been doing this for a lot of years, and I once had a young man ask me why. Why did I give the time? And I told him it was several reasons, but let me give you the selfish reason, because you're the future. And I have to take care of you to take care of my future. So I thank you, brothers, for what you do to ensure my future. That's my selfish rant on that. Again, I can't thank you enough for what you do. Godspeed in what you do. Brothers, stay safe. I thank you so, so much. And from Q's on the Move, we're signing off. Good night.